The idea of a world where people can feel again becomes more tangible. But with each success, the weight of their actions grows. They are no longer just talking about rebellion, they are committing to it. Ilara knows the risks of what they are doing, but she can no longer live in fear. Her desire to feel, to experience life fully, is too strong. The more she shares the heart's power with others, the more she realizes just how deep the city's control runs. But she also sees the spark in people's eyes when they experience true emotion for the first time, something more powerful than any machine could ever offer. News of Ilara's growing resistance begins to spread through the undercurrents of the city. Whispers travel through the darkened alleys, through underground networks of dissenters. The people are beginning to wake up, but the council is always one step ahead. One morning, Ilara arrives at her workshop to find the door kicked open, the contents of her space ransacked. The mechanical heart is gone. Panic surges in her chest as she searches frantically through the wreckage, but the heart is nowhere to be found. Her heart races, and for the first time in weeks, she feels a wave of pure fear. The enforcers have taken it. As Ilara stands in the ruins of her sanctuary, she feels a surge of anger.
They've taken everything from me. They've taken my future.
But amid the chaos, there's a flicker of something else, a determination, a fire that has been lit within her. The council may have taken the heart, but they cannot take her resolve. They cannot extinguish the fire of rebellion that has begun to burn in her heart. She stands tall, the feeling of rebellion surging through her veins. She knows what she must do.
The heart will not be their weapon. It will be ours.
Ilara makes a final decision that will change everything. The time has come for the city of Morsum to feel again. No more hiding in the shadows. She will take the heart back, and she will make the council see what it means to live, not just exist. The allies she has gathered, Jorik, the inventors, the dissidents, prepare for the final confrontation. Armed with the portable emotional devices they've created, they storm the council's central headquarters in a calculated, coordinated attack. Their mission is simple: to retrieve the heart and awaken the entire city to the truth of their oppression. As Ilara leads the charge, she feels the weight of the heart on her chest once more. The council has tried to silence them, to suppress their humanity. But Ilara knows that the heart, the power of emotion, cannot be crushed. The battle rages on as they infiltrate the heart of the council's stronghold. Ilara faces the final choice. If she uses the heart, it will awaken not just the people but also the enforcers. There's no going back. But she is no longer afraid. In that moment, she places the heart in the center of the room, and with a single defiant push, she activates it once more. In this section, Ilara's rebellion gains momentum, but the price of defying Morsum's oppressive system grows higher. The stakes are now life and death, and Ilara must confront not only the physical forces of the council but also the emotional weight of the choices she's made. The heart has become both a symbol of freedom and a dangerous weapon that could either break the chains of Morsum or bring about its complete destruction. Ilara's journey takes her through moments of intense personal sacrifice, the heartbreaking consequences of her actions, and the realization that revolution comes at an immense cost. The battle to reclaim the mechanical heart from the council has begun. Ilara, Jorik, and the small but growing group of rebels are holed up in an abandoned district of the city, preparing for the final push. The rebels have grown in number, and the streets are becoming more dangerous by the day. The council has ramped up its enforcement efforts, tightening security, and punishing any hint of rebellion. But the insurgents are determined. The heart is no longer a simple mechanical device. It has become a beacon, a rallying cry. The rebel group has modified the original design to create several portable versions of the heart, hoping to spread the power of emotions across Morsum's cold, silent streets. But Ilara knows that the only true way to awaken the city is to use the original heart, the one that she once held in her hands, the one that had unlocked the deepest emotions within her. In a dimly lit room, Ilara stands before a makeshift control panel with the heart resting in front of her. The moment she activates it, she feels the familiar, almost electric pull in her chest, the pulse of life that the heart emits. She hesitates, her hands shaking with fear and anticipation. The power of this device is immense, and once she activates it, there will be no going back.
We do this together.
Jorik says softly, standing beside her. His face is grave, but there is something different about him now, a flicker of life in his eyes. For once, he looks like a man who has felt something real. Ilara nods, taking a deep breath. She knows what's at stake. This is it. She presses the button. First, nothing happens. But then, the room hums with a deep resonance, and the heart begins to glow. A wave of emotion pulses outward from the device, spreading through the air like a shockwave. It's overwhelming, sorrow, joy, anger, love, all rushing into the hearts of everyone within range. Ilara feels her chest tighten, the flood of emotions surging through her body like a torrent, and yet, there's something deeply satisfying about it. The world is no longer empty. The silence is shattered. The first signs of change are subtle. People outside begin to pause. Their eyes blink in confusion, as if waking from a long sleep. For the first time in years, their faces shift from robotic monotony to something more, something human. Ilara watches as people on the streets begin to embrace each other, break into laughter, even shed tears. It's a small victory, but it's a victory nonetheless. But the euphoria is short-lived. The council's enforcers, alerted by the surge of emotion, storm the district. The rebellion is no longer a quiet uprising. It is a full-scale war. Ilara feels a pang of guilt. She has awoken the people, but at what cost? The streets erupt in chaos as Ilara and her rebels face the enforcers head-on. The city, once sterile and controlled, now buzzes with emotion. Raw, unfiltered emotion. For the first time in generations, the citizens of Morsum are not just existing. They are living. But the price of this awakening is steep. Ilara, leading the charge, finds herself in the thick of the battle. She is no longer the quiet inventor who once toiled in her workshop. She has become a symbol, the embodiment of rebellion. She feels the weight of responsibility bearing down on her shoulders with every step. The sound of metal clashing against metal, the roar of rebel forces clashing with the enforcers' mechanized precision, fills the air. The streets are filled with violence, but it's also filled with the energy of freedom. She catches sight of a fellow rebel, Mara, pinned against a wall by an enforcer's stun blade. Without thinking, Ilara rushes forward, her heart pounding in her chest. She grabs a nearby device, a modified pulse grenade, and hurls it toward the enforcer. The explosion sends a shockwave through the area, knocking the enforcer off his feet and freeing Mara.
Ilara, we have to keep moving!
Mara shouts, pulling her to her feet. Ilara nods, but as she surveys the chaos around her, she sees something that makes her blood run cold. Civilians, people who have just begun to experience the power of emotion, are caught in the crossfire. Some of them are overwhelmed by the surge of feelings and are collapsing, unable to handle the intensity. Others are lashing out in confusion and fear. The very thing that was meant to liberate them has instead become a weapon, a double-edged sword.
Stop! We need to control this.
Ilara yells to the others, but her voice is drowned out by the sounds of battle. Mara grabs her arm.
It's too late. The city is awake, Ilara. There's no going back.
As Ilara looks around at the wreckage, her fellow rebels, the overwhelmed civilians, the lifeless bodies of fallen enforcers, she feels a surge of regret. She never anticipated how dangerous it would be to force emotions onto a population that had been numb for so long. There is no going back to the quiet, controlled life of Morsum. And now, she fears that the city will never recover from the chaos she has unleashed. As the battle rages on, Ilara receives a cryptic message from an unknown source.
The heart is no longer yours.
At first, Ilara believes it to be a trap, a feint from the council to mislead her. But the message gnaws at her, and when she turns to Jorik for answers, she sees something in his eyes that she hadn't noticed before. A flicker of doubt, a crack in his resolve.
Jorik?
Ilara asks, her voice sharp. He doesn't meet her gaze immediately, but when he finally does, his face is pale.
Ilara, I didn't want you to know. But, the heart is gone.
Ilara's heart skips a beat.
What do you mean, it's gone? It's the key to everything. Without it.
I had to do it.
Jorik interrupts.
The council, they promised me safety. They promised to spare my family if I delivered it to them.
Ilara's world shatters. Her friend, her ally, has betrayed her. The heart, the very thing that has sparked this revolution, has been taken from her, again.
You gave it to them?
Ilara's voice cracks, the betrayal cutting deeper than any weapon. Jorik nods slowly, his face filled with remorse.
I'm sorry, Ilara. But they promised they wouldn't hurt my family. They promised me a future.
For a moment, Ilara is frozen in disbelief. How could Jorik, someone who had stood by her side, someone who had felt the power of emotion, betray her in such a way? Tears well up in her eyes, not just from the pain of the betrayal, but from the weight of everything she has lost. What if she can't win this fight? What if the heart is the only hope, and she's lost it forever? In the darkest hour, when Ilara is at her lowest, she is approached by a small group of rebels. They are carrying the heart, the original heart, the one that Ilara thought was lost forever.
We got it back.
The leader of the group says breathlessly, her face bruised and battered from the fight.
It wasn't easy, but we managed to infiltrate the council's stronghold. We brought it back, Ilara. The heart is yours.
For a moment, Ilara just stands there, stunned. Her heart beats faster as she takes the heart into her hands once more. It pulses with life, its power undeniable. But even as she holds it, she knows that the city is in ruins. The people are divided, some freed by their newfound emotions, others overwhelmed and chaotic. The revolution has succeeded, but it has come at an unimaginable cost. With the heart in her hands, Ilara faces a choice. Will she use it again to try and heal the city, or will she leave it behind, knowing that the heart itself may always be a symbol of war, of destruction, and of the price of freedom? The final choice looms over Ilara. As she stands on the edge of a new world, she wonders whether this revolution was worth the destruction, whether the power of the heart was ever meant to be wielded so recklessly. She knows that whatever she chooses, she will never be the same again. The cost of freedom is high, and the future of Morsum hangs in the balance. But one thing is certain, she will no longer be a slave to silence. Ilara stands in the heart of the rebel stronghold, clutching the mechanical heart. The room is filled with the remnants of the battle, scattered papers, broken tools, and the weary faces of the remaining rebels. The tension in the air is palpable. Outside, the streets are a war zone, a chaotic mixture of joy and fear, as the city grapples with a wave of emotions that have flooded it. The heart in Ilara's hands feels heavy, but not just physically. It carries the weight of every choice she has made up until this point, every life lost, and every life changed. The heart pulses with an almost hypnotic rhythm, calling to her, urging her to make the final decision that will either save or doom Morsum. Ilara has heard the cries of the people, their anger, their sorrow, their joy, and they have all become one unrelenting force inside her. The rebellion has awakened something in the citizens, but it has also awakened something darker. The unpredictable chaos of raw, unchecked emotion. There are those who are lashing out violently, unable to handle the surge of feelings they have never known. Some have turned against the very idea of freedom, seeking to return to the cold stability they once knew. In the midst of this, Ilara is torn. Was the heart meant to be a gift? Or was it a weapon? Jorik, who has returned to the rebel camp, stands by her side, looking at the heart with a mixture of reverence and fear.
Ilara.
He begins softly, his voice heavy with guilt.
I know I betrayed you. I know I gave it to the council. But I also know that I was wrong. This heart, it isn't just a device. It's not just something that controls emotions. It's a mirror, Ilara. It reflects who we are, what we've lost.
Ilara looks at him, her heart a storm of conflicting emotions. She wants to scream at him, to demand why he did it, but she knows that now is not the time for anger. There's too much at stake.
Then what do we do with it?
She asks, her voice barely above a whisper.
We can't just unleash it again. I don't know if we can control it anymore.
Jorik looks at the heart, his eyes filled with regret.
I think we need to put it to rest. Not destroy it, but let it go. We can't use it to save the city, Ilara. If we do, it might burn everything down.
Ilara swallows hard. Let it go. Feels impossible. The heart has given her everything. Freedom, connection, emotion. How could she possibly give that up? But deep down, Ilara knows he's right. The heart is not a tool, it's a force. And forces, once unleashed, cannot always be controlled. She looks out over the city through the window, the streets alive with a chaotic surge of feelings. Some people laugh, others cry, some fight, while others simply stare in disbelief. There's a revolution happening, but it's not the one she envisioned. As Ilara contemplates the weight of her decision, a new, far more urgent threat looms on the horizon. The council, though fractured and weakened by the rebellion, is not yet defeated. Their control over Morsam's military forces remains strong, and they are preparing for one final, decisive strike against the rebels. In the distance, the sound of marching enforcers grows louder. Ilara knows that the time for decision has arrived. If she is to end this conflict, she must act before the council's forces can descend upon the city, squashing the rebellion and returning Morsam to its oppressive silence. In a tense meeting with the rebel leadership, Ilara lays out her plan. They will face the council's forces head-on. But this time they will not use the heart as a weapon of emotion. They will use it to end the war, to show the people that there is another way, a way to live in harmony without the need for violence or control. Her words are met with skepticism by some, especially Mara, the rebel leader who has fought alongside her from the beginning.
Ilara, you can't be serious.
Mara says, her voice tight with emotion.
We've come this far. You want us to stop now, after everything we've sacrificed? The heart is our weapon. It's what will win this fight.
Ilara shakes her head, her eyes steely with determination.
No. It's what has created this fight. We need to give the people something better. Something they can build on, not something that will destroy them.
The room falls into uneasy silence as everyone contemplates her words. But eventually, one by one, the rebels agree to follow her plan. They will confront the council, not with violence, but with the truth, that the heart is not the answer, that they can choose a different path. The day of the final confrontation arrives. The rebel forces gather in the heart of Morsam, facing the massive, armored gates of the council's stronghold. The air is thick with tension, the streets eerily quiet in the aftermath of the emotional surge that has flooded the city. Ilara stands at the forefront, the heart in her hands, ready to make the ultimate sacrifice. She feels the weight of the world on her shoulders. This is it, the moment when everything she has fought for, everything she has lost, will either fall apart or be reborn. As the council's enforcers march toward them, Ilara steps forward, holding the heart aloft.
Morsam!
She calls, her voice ringing out across the city.
The heart is not the weapon. It is not our salvation. We can choose to live, to feel, without destroying ourselves. The choice is ours.
The enforcers halt, their leader, Magistrate Torin, stepping forward. His eyes are cold, calculating.
You think you can change the world with emotion?
Torin sneers.
This city was built on order, on control. You cannot win.
But Ilara is resolute.
We don't need to win.
She replies.
We just need to choose to live.
She activates the heart one final time, sending a pulse of emotion through the city. But this time it's different. It doesn't spread chaos. Instead, it reaches deep within the people of Morsam, encouraging them to reflect, to heal, to understand the full range of what it means to be human. For a moment there is silence. Then, one by one, the people begin to stand, their faces softening. The enforcers lower their weapons, unsure of what to do. And in that moment, Ilara understands. The heart was never meant to control, it was meant to guide. The power was never in the machine itself, but in the choice of the people. The final confrontation ends not with bloodshed, but with a quiet surrender. The council's forces retreat, unwilling to fight against the tide of change that has swept over Morsum. The citizens, now aware of their emotions, begin to rebuild, to reclaim what was lost. Ilara stands on a rooftop, overlooking the city. It's different now. The silence has been broken, but it's not replaced by chaos. Instead, there's a quiet hum of life, of people choosing to live together. Imperfect but free. The heart no longer pulses with the power it once had, its energy spent in the final act of awakening. Ilara is no longer the inventor who stumbled upon a forbidden machine. She is something more, a leader who has changed the course of history not through force but through the power of choice. As she watches the people of Morsum below, she knows that the future is uncertain. There will be struggles ahead. But for the first time she feels hope. Hope for a future built not on control, but on the freedom to feel, to choose. The heart, now a symbol of change, rests silently in her hands. It no longer dictates the fate of the world. People do.